Hi, Coach. I'll let everybody in.
Hello.
We can get started. We can start with in-person questions.
It is. Um, Both teams looking a little bit different than the first time you guys met. What stands out to you about them this last week or so?
Well, they finally got some a little breathing time themselves. Their schedule's been insane. Um, Obviously, it's their first home game in quite a while, so we kind of got to be aware of that and ready for that. The energy I'm sure they'll come out with, but I think kind of not necessarily similar teams in terms of style exactly, but just teams that are a little on the young side, competing really hard in every game. Um, so I see a little bit of us in them. But they got obviously De'Erica's playing fantastically well. Ricky is having an excellent rookie season. It's a shame about Cam, obviously. Um, but they just have some players that are really, seizing the opportunity in front of them. And I feel like we've been kind of in the same boat.
You've been you played Jade and Julie a little bit together. What do you like about them as two point guards on the floor at the same time?
Yeah, I'm kind of playing every combination that I have together. No, I like that, it gives us multiple ball handlers. I think going back over the years, we've always enjoyed having a couple people who can handle the ball and, get us into offense on the court at the same time. And they both play with a lot of, kind of enthusiasm and joy and energy. And I think that's contagious across the team. Jade's a little bigger, so she can guard some of the wings. Um, Julie, obviously, around the perimeter gives us a lot. Jade's that downhill threat. So I think they complement each other well.
Just one more couple of defensive keys for the night.
Close up driving lanes. I think the last 5 or 6 games for them, they've really been, I think they're among the league leaders in drives and scoring, shots off of drives at the rim. So we got to kind of get back to our defensive principles. Our one practice that we had yesterday, that was definitely the focus. And then, personnel, they have some people who are pretty strong tendencies, right hand versus left hand, a couple each direction. So, knowing the keys on individual players is probably one of the main things tonight.
Coach Miller was saying that, when he watches your team and watches you coach, he can kind of see similarities with the way he thinks about basketball conceptually and strategically. Do you kind of see the same? You were talking about a little bit, but do you see maybe some of the same philosophies when you're watching LA or you're watching a Kurt Miller coach team?
Yeah, we stole a lot of our defense from him, so that would be one reason that we see some similarities. We played him a bunch of times, obviously, when he was in Connecticut, and we realized how hard they were to play against, and we actually adapted some of the things that we did defensively, partly based on um, his team. So that's not an accident. I think we both have teams over the years, even before I was the coach of this team, that really value moving the ball, playing with a lot of motion and spacing in the half court. We've had different personnel, but those things kind of tend to translate across different teams. So um, he's obviously been really successful in our league, so I'll take that as a compliment.
Hey, Coach, Kurt mentioned pregame, like obviously you're trying to win games, but he said even more than that, he's looking to just play well and execute. Is that something that you guys are kind of trying to do right now as well?
I think so. I think we've been playing pretty well. I think the execution can definitely get better and more consistent over the course of 40 minutes. I think we've had some highs and lows within games. But I think our team's also at a point where we had enough games where it was a valiant effort and a loss, and we do want to win games. So this is the start of a trip. We lost out here last time in a different building, but still against the same team, and we'd like to put that right.
Hey, Coach, with Austin, is there a timetable for her? And is it the same hip that she had the surgery on in the offseason?
No timetable, same hip. So the hip was pretty good to start the year. She took a hard fall in New York at the end of May. And Kareem's heard me say it a bunch, but just trying to find some consistency in how she feels and recovers day to day. She's been back in a lot of live stuff and practice. We don't practice that much right now during this part of the season, so that's a little more challenging, but she's definitely doing well. Just trying to find a point where she feels like some consistency in how not just her hip, but how her body feels responding to, kind of going through basketball stuff again. So I'm encouraged, but we're not there yet for games.
Last month there was an uptick in a lot of your numbers overall, like in points, shooting, 3-point percentage, offensive rating. What do you sort of attribute that to, and how do you sort of keep that going?
Maybe a few things. I mean, one, we just started making some shots. That solves a lot of problems, including layups. We were not a good finishing team for the first month or so of the season, and we've been a lot better since then. It was a real emphasis of ours, both in practice and just literally individually working on it. Started making some threes. I think we were taking a lot of the same shots we were missing early in the season, but I also think we're kind of getting to a place where we understand our teammates a little bit better. We had a lot of new faces to start the year. So it's part me figuring out what works offensively for this group and the players we have. And you always have some kind of hunches and stuff at the start of the year, but then you got to actually see it play out. So getting a little bit smarter about what we run, who's in it, teammates understanding each other a little bit better and what the reads are. And, we don't have a lot of one-on-one break you down ISO players. So it's we really rely on being connected and, maximizing each other's strengths.
With Sykes and Carly, do you anticipate both of them back after the break?
Yeah, that's the plan.
We'll go to Zoom. Jen?
And
Hey Eric, how are you?
Good.
With Aaliyah making the Canadian Olympic team, just what was your reaction to that, and how is it kind of getting to celebrate that with her out there?
It was great. I mean, it wasn't a surprise exactly, but it was awesome. I mean, I don't know. Everybody saw the short video that went around today on social, but you expected a good reaction for her. Everybody already knew the news; like it was out before we ever met as a team this morning. So it was just really cool to see her teammates react like that for her. I think it meant a lot to her, but it was, I think a celebration of her making the team, but just a celebration of kind of who she is as a person. I said it, kind of about Ariel a few weeks ago, but Aaliyah carries herself like an Olympian. I mean, that's just how she acts. It's how she goes about her work every day. Vet teammates can tell with a rookie, and they could tell right away that this one's a good egg and a serious basketball player and a pro, and everything that we could want when we drafted her, we've gotten.
And what are you hoping she, brings back from her Olympic experience, or how do you hope that helps her going forward? Obviously, she's already had some Olympic experience, but this time around.
Yeah, she's in a different position with that national team than she was. She was the youngster on the team last time around, or one of them. I think she probably has higher expectations for herself this time around, and she's going to be one of the key pieces for that team, not just this summer, but going forward. And kind of as we've seen with our group, I don't think she's afraid of those expectations or that pressure, and so she's going to get a chance to play on the world stage for her country, which means a lot to her. She obviously has belief that they can be successful and medal, so I'm sure she'd love to bring that home. But for us, I just want her to soak up that that opportunity, even more about than what it would mean to us, or what I hope she does. It's just you don't get many opportunities like that in life and in your career. So I hope she enjoys every minute of it and plays well. And we're obviously very proud of her.
Just one more for you. With Didi in the starting lineup the past two games, what made you decide to plug her into that spot, and what have you liked about how she fits in that starting group that you've used the past two games? I know you could switch it up at any time, but just in the past.
I think just kind of looking at the schedule we were about to play, having some, I don't know if that message was on this computer, if it was meant for this group. Sorry, got a message popped up. No, Didi playing against bigger wings, like we've had a lot of size against the teams we played. Connecticut starts to want to Bonner at the 3. Vegas, Chelsea and Jackie are big guards. We're going to kind of see that this week. So just trying to kind of max out what Didi brings to the table. And one of the things she does best is be able to guard bigger wings. We don't really have another big wing right now that's available to us. So trying to use that in a way that is most impactful. And then kind of with that starting group we've had. I feel like there's enough of a balance of shooting that Didi can be a little bit more of a ball handler, a cutter, a driver, sometimes a screener and roller. So, I'm just trying to kind of look at the roster overall and figure out what groups make sense to play together. And I try to think about it as a rotation in the game, at least for the first half.
Got it. Thank you.
That's it, Coach. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
We'll see everyone post game.